So it was a really fun day today over at Corydon and Alice Johnson's home. It was nice of them to let me listen to the IRS Vs this afternoon and this morning. As I mentioned to him in a text, it was like my childhood audio dreams came true, and even more so. The work he's done on those planar magnetic drivers and eliminating the EMITs and using the location where the EMIMs used to be are now full range down to 67 hertz and then above 20K. Just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, there was no harshness. It was just, you're just listening to music. You're not worried about the equipment. You're not worried about the technology and, you know, all that cool stuff that he explains in the video upcoming. The one thing I will mention is he will be at RMAF this year with his son Bob. I'm hoping to make the trek up there, you know, basically to help him work his room and all that stuff, and possibly check out, you know, what else is going on over there. But the thing I gotta say is pretty much every 50 years, 30 years or whatever, some kind of audio equipment comes along or technology that just makes you go, holy fuck, like that was amazing. Today was one of those days for me because planar magnetics have been around for ages, as Corydon is going to explain in the video. But the way he's done it, you know, and with his experience, nobody else in the world that I'm aware of has done a full range planar magnetic driver with no distortion, no rise or dip in the impedance curve. And he has mentioned that one day, and he knows he can do it, is to go full range 20 hertz to be on 20 kilohertz planar magnetic driver. The size of it is going to be huge. There's no argument there. But the fact that it could be done and still be able to put into somebody's living room, you know, is going to be an amazement. Now, the one thing, him and I, again, you'll see, I mentioned it in the video. He is going to help me out on my open baffle debacle here. And that I want to, after what I heard today, I have to get rid of these, basically your voice coil speakers, and get rid of the cheap GRS planar magnetic, which does the job and everything. But what I heard today, I just want a glimpse of what I heard in my living room. And I really want the word to get out, guys. I mean, I know I've only got 515, I think now, subscribers. And I think the world of all you guys. You know, the fact that you check out my videos every week, you know, and put nice comments in the section there, you know, it means so much. But I really, really want to get the word out. I'll make sure that Corydon's email address is down below. And again, anybody who wants to get their hands on this technology, it's a simple email to him. It's serious inquiries only. And hopefully any of you guys that do come out to RMAF, it will be able to hear what I heard today. Now, again, those IRS Vs are sold. What you're going to hear at RMAF is his full range ribbons that he built that are, I'm not going to say modeled after the IRS Vs, but in the similar vein. They're the planar magnetics that you saw my little report on at the Arizona AV Club DIY event. Other than that, guys, enjoy the video. It's about 15 minutes long. My, you know, babbling here is another 5. So if you got 20 minutes to spare, it's worth it. You know, you fast forward to where he starts talking if you want to get over my, you know, crap that I'm talking about. And other than that, guys, enjoy the video. And remember, this is all about having fun. All right. See you soon. Bye. Hey guys, how's it going? So today I'm over at Corydon and Alice Johnson's home. Corydon just finished modifying the infamous IRS Vs that you see on either side of me here. And what he's done is he's replaced the original EMIM mid-range drivers with his own full-range design. Again, they're still planar magnetic. And I'm telling you guys, without 1,000 adjectives and audiophile bullshit, they sound amazing. I've heard Paul McGowan's setup in Boulder, which Corydon also modified all the EMIM and EMIT drivers a few years ago. That setup is amazing. This takes it another step further. And as you guys know, I don't do audio samples because they're bullshit. Again, as far as availability, I have talked to Corydon about it and all that stuff, one step at a time. But the gentleman that's buying Corydon's IRS Vs is going to be happier than a pig in shit. Because, again, I've heard these. The bass towers, you see them, you don't hear them, which is the way it's supposed to be. Doesn't matter where you stand in his living room here, you got nice center focus, you got big sound stage, lots of front to back sound stage going on. And really, guys, that's all I really have for the video, because so we'll get Corydon to talk a little bit about what he did to basically improve on the old the legend here. And guys, I'll take it over to him because he can explain this a lot better than I can. All I can tell you is about the sound. So
hi, my name's Corey Johnson. These IRS Vs that you see here, I bought them in January of 1981 as an IRS. I bought them from Lyric Hi-Fi in New York City. Elliot Goldman was my salesman. Today he's the distributor for Bending Wave. They have been modified first time in the house by Lyric to 3s. Then I sent them back to California around 1987 to turn them into IRS 5s. And I played them until, I guess it was around around 2000, the EMIMs all started to corrode and fail. So the first thing I did was replace magnets and redid the magnets, and I've done them for about 12 different people with IRS 5s. And then about 12 years ago, one gentleman who had 5 pair, Mr. Larry Schwartz, and it said, "Can you make diaphragms?" And I said, "Well, you know, the very first job I had was at Grumman Aircraft, and I worked in the chemical milling department. We were manufacturing wing skins for the 707. And I told him, yeah, I think I can do that. So then I started investigating what to do. Now this is an EMIM diaphragm. This is what I started with. As you can see, there's 3 coils on the front. If you go in the back, there's 3 coils on the back. So there's 6 coils on the aluminum. The diaphragm is Mylar, and you'll see they've added tape. And it has, you notice, very low tension. That's the original design. This thing is heavy. This weighs about 1 gram, with all this tape and everything on there. And 12 years later, this is what's in here now. As you see, there's only 2 coils. And there's only 1. There's nothing on the back. You're looking at the back side of 2. So I've gone from 6 coils to 2 coils. That reduces the inductance. This diaphragm has 3 millionths of a Henry of inductance. The impedance, as they call it, a curve, is not a curve. My inductance from this is a flat line at 3 ohms.
And I'm going to make sure that the measurements that Corydon did, they'll be in the video as well. And
yes, you have copies.
Yes, I do. And I'm going to let Corydon take over. You guys can stop listening to me. But the best thing I love about these speakers is, or his drivers, you do not need a crossover. At minimum, maybe a series resistor, but that depends on your amplifier and how he builds them on his end. I'll let you go. No.
Yeah, I consider crossovers a crutch, because you got a driver that can't make the whole range that the ear can hear. This comes close. This, by the fact the diaphragm is of this size, this is 6 inches, this is 7 inches. So what I did is I've opened this up. This is now 5 inches across, and this is 5.7 inches in height. The old design, was 4 inches wide by 5 inches high. So this diaphragm is bigger than this one. And this in effect is a drum. The bigger the drum, the lower the frequency. Also, what's unique about this is you see two things. You see the aluminum. On the front it's black because that's the photoresist. If you look on the back, now you're looking at the aluminum as seen through the parylene. So you got aluminum, and you got parylene HT for the plastic. The adhesive is the parylene. Parylene is a conformal coating. It was invented in the 40s by Dow Chemical. It has no known solvent. You cannot dissolve this stuff in anything that's known. The only way to get parylene off, if you put it on electronic parts, is to abrade it off. Parylene is also unique. It's used in the medical industry. Stents are coated in it. Pacemakers are coated in it as the last thing because it protects it. The body doesn't react with it. And it's applied in a vacuum deposition process. It's applied in a vacuum at the temperature is room temperature, and it comes out as a gas. And it propagates on the entire surface, so that I can make this a diaphragm. I came up with a proprietary masking so that the parylene would stick to the mask on this side. I peeled that mask off, and now I can etch this face. As you notice, this is the silver or the aluminum, and this is black. The etch does not attack the black wherever I've removed it. This is etched. Now it looks like it's all one. This center section is 2.6 microns thick. There's 4 steps of etching in here. I've got 4 steps. This gets thicker, and this is thicker. Same up to here. That's because if you study the magnets on their finite element design, you realize when you get to the end, the force spreads out and diminishes on the ends. So by making the diaphragm thicker, I increase I make it more efficient for the amplifier to drive the ends. And that's why this thing works.
Give them a little bit of background to your history, how you went from a print shop, now you're retired, and now you're doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, when my primary business originally when I was back in New York was I was in high volume direct mail printing. I had 5 web offset presses, 6 Polar cutters, and 18 stall folding machines. And we were manufacturing millions of pieces a day. It's very high volume. The trouble is the computer has ended the high volume direct mail printing business. I retired. I had to find something else to do. This is it.
And again, guys, I've heard this setup, and it's mind-blowing. And I talked to Corydon, and once I've got some shekels saved up in the future, I'd like to use some of his full-range drivers in place of my voice coil speakers and stuff that I've got in my open baffles. But that's going forward. It's going to take a few months, but
Yeah. Just
this-
to reiterate,
go ahead.
Inductance has three components. Resistance, which is based on the size of the wire, the length of the wire, and it's independent of phase. Then we have inductance, where if you wind a coil, you get inductance. And the third one is capacitance. Electrostatic speakers are basically a capacitor load, frequency dependent. The speakers that you have are basically solenoids pushing some form of a supposedly rigid diaphragm back and forth. That's an inductor. That's also dependent on frequency. So if you look at the frequency curves for an electrostatic or a voice coil driven speaker with multiple windings, you'll have an impedance that is a curve. And it's all over the place. So when you say you got a 4 ohm speaker, yeah, maybe 4 ohms at one point, but some other places you could be 10, 12 ohms. That presents to your amplifier a load that is frequency dependent. So certain frequencies will play louder than others. This driver gives the amplifier a resistive load. So this, no matter what the frequency is the same load to the amplifier. And to reiterate the importance of this, Panasonic in their high-end equipment has developed a program and they monitor what your frequency curve is, and they correct it to a flat line. They don't have to do that with this. This is a flat line already. So that's why this sounds so good.
And by the way, guys, if you hear a little bit of echo in our voices, I don't want to see one comment about how could they sound so good, because I'm not going to give you a tour of Corydon and Alice's home, but he doesn't have any parallel walls in here. And all I can do is tell you guys what my ears heard, okay? Clean, precise, wasn't sharp at all. Mid-range sounds exactly the way it should be. You cannot tell that the big stacks are on for the bass. They only come on when they're supposed to. So in this living room setup of theirs, even though that's the other comment that I don't want to see. Oh, but you don't have the stacks behind the wings. It's supposed to be behind the wings. Well, it depends on the living room and the room that you're in.
That's another misnomer. These IRSs have been my speaker for 40 years. And I used to have them in the back, and these things are huge, and those woofer towers are huge, and you got that all stacked on one wall. It's a lot of stuff. And then one day, when I was selling another home, the realtors were breaking my chops. Oh, that stuff is too big. Oh, it's too ugly. We'll never sell this house. So I took the woofer towers, I put them behind me, run them out of phase, so now the woofers and the drivers in the speakers, when this is coming forward, the woofer tower is going backwards. Yeah. And they're doing this, and I found it played better. And now you've taken, instead of 4 big things looking at you in the front of the room, you only have 2. The other 2 are behind you, and it works well. Just got to run them out of phase, 180 out of phase. That's the trick.
Guys, that's all for now. Thank you again, Corydon, for doing this interview. You speak a lot better than I do, man. I mumble too much. You did all that perfect. And Alice is out of frame, and we're not putting her in frame because I want to be able to come back to their home again, you know.
Alice is the critic.
Yeah. All of us audiophiles wouldn't be where we are without our wives. That's all I got to say. Thanks again, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.